acceptance is at the heart of every kind of love. Accepting that I don't know why this is the way I look, it just is. And like, I'm allowed to be here. I'm allowed to show up in the world fully as what I am. I don't have to be ashamed of it. I don't have to be embarrassed of it. I don't have to feel like I need to correct anything. I can just be here. Ooh, bust down, Tatiana. Is that a bust down? Hi, it's me, without a stitch of makeup on. My natural look. Ooh, that is some good fucking green tea. So what it is and what it isn't, I'm trying to like get myself together. I don't know why I'm out of sorts right now. Carving my eyes, copy that, copy that, copy that. The inspiration for this video is the most fabulous thing in the world. That is to say, I was inspired by myself. I inspired myself in this video. Well, no, it is, I'm not joking, I'm serious. Editing my last video where I was talking about perceptions and the way that shapes our idea of what's beautiful. The thing that I said that had me so shook was I was talking about how, for whatever reason, I've just ultimately always had an acceptance for the way that I physically look. And I do know that that is true of me. Like, that's not something I made up. But like, it just sounded so simple, and really it's like, but how? How, Sway? Like, how did you arrive upon this? Kind of flesh that out of how did I become somebody who is accepting. And like I said, I use the term ultimately accepting, because that's not to say I was just like, no, like I'll never change a thing, like everything's good. When I say ultimately, it just means like at the end of the day, I do have acceptance and a love for my raw physical beauty. I guess what really sparked me upon this path, because I got on it very young. I would say probably I was in kindergarten when I realized that I'm most likely, if not certainly, will not be reaffirmed by the world outside of me, by the community outside of me, that I am beautiful, that I am worthy. Could just sense, you know, just from the experiences I had at that young age, I was like, this is gonna be the kind of situation where you're gonna have to keep yourself afloat, girl. Like, this is me talking to me. Literally being like, what we better do is figure out a way that I'm my own like dream girl, that I'm my own version of beauty, and that I love it, because I don't believe I'm gonna be getting that idea from anywhere else. I don't believe that anyone else outside of me is really gonna support that, you know what I'm saying? And that isn't to read, you know, the way that I look, like, oh, like I'm just so terrible or whatever. No. I am an empath. For those of you who don't know what an empath is, it's just basically a hypersensitive person who can pick up on the feelings, the true feelings of people that they're around. Being an empath really allowed me to understand people and understand what was in my control and what I had dominion over and what I don't. I'm gonna think about what color I want to use right now. We're gonna use you, gorgeous. I hope you're gonna, oh yes, honey. Okay, baby. I was gonna have to accept and love my physical appearance and be able to, ignore essentially what other outside information I was gonna get, and just really run with that idea that I was beautiful. But the thing about it is that everyone is beautiful in their natural state. Every single person is. We've just been made to think that certain things that are very human traits, very unique or individual traits, that these things are negatives. So of course we don't think of ourselves as beautiful when it's like, oh, but I have a freckle. Oh, but my eyebrows are uneven. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if that's our idea of what's beautiful, then I don't know what to tell you. But I'm more just talking about the real beauty that just comes with being a person, somebody in their raw state. So I think when I was reflecting on it, because why didn't I just go along with what the outside world, which was telling me, which was that I was definitely not beautiful. There was definitely many things about me that were not beautiful. Where did that come from? That I was able to, from within, say, no, I need to believe in my own personal beauty. And honestly, I feel like I was blessed with something. Even then, I recognized it was such a blessing, even though nobody really confirmed that for me. I was born with, I don't know what you would call it. I think it's just a birthmark. It was right here on this cheek, about the size of a penny, and it was dark brown. I honestly loved it. I loved having that birthmark. I had it removed pretty young because I guess allegedly it could have developed into cancer. It was that type of birthmark. And so I did get it removed, and oh my God, I was sad when I had to get it removed. It was like my first identity crisis, my first of many. But I was so sad to see it go because honestly, you know, my parents just always, their approach to it was that it was beautiful and that it was what made me special. And it did feel like that. It felt special. Nobody else had a mark on their face like that. Even when like kids would ask about it, because you know, my parents really prepped me before going to school and being around other kids. You know, they would say like, people are gonna ask questions about it and stare at it, or you know, whatever, but that's just, you know, because nobody else has that. And you're lucky you have it. And I did feel that way. I was like, I am fucking lucky. I thought it was beautiful. I think it's beautiful now, even when I look at it. That was my very first introduction to the idea of like something about me that I see in myself that is beautiful. Other people's perceptions will be that it's not beautiful. And like, what a beautiful lesson. What an absolutely gorgeous lesson for me to have been able to learn at that age. I mean, it shaped the whole rest of my life. Now that I look at it, it was something I always kind of, I never really tuned into like thinking it was anything. Hold on, glitter, 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 glitter. Girl. But yeah, it always felt like such a gift that I was able to be so empowered by something that other people thought was so strange or so out of place. Another thing that really colored that for me is the fact that my father is black and my mother is white. Now I can look back or look at myself now and be like, yeah, like there's an ambiguity to my look, for sure. When, you know, I was growing up, and the way that my father raised my sisters and I, because I have 3 sisters, we were always in areas that were completely white. All the other people were white. And so I always self-identify as black, and I never saw myself as anything differently. Like, still even now, like, people can think I'm a lot of different races or, you know, ask about it, whatever. And I try to fix my eyes to see something that they see, but I can't, because it's just, that's not my experience. But I can understand now with time and like looking back, like, yeah, I do have a pretty ambiguous look to where you wouldn't know, I guess, what race that I was. And that also colored my ability to be like, I know that I'm this thing. I know what the truth is. I'm not confused, but other people are going to interpret it differently. And like I said, allow them to have that. Like, you can see that if you want, but at the end of the day, like, I know what I am. Those 2 things combined gave me such a good head start at understanding that other people can think a certain way about my physical appearance, but it doesn't make it true, and it doesn't make it something that I'm going to absorb and take it and be like, oh, well, I guess I am that. Because if I did that, I'd be a billion different things. And like, the funny thing is I am a billion different things, you know? For as many people as there are on this earth, that's how many interpretations and how many versions of myself there are. I mean, same for you, same for anybody. Those 2 elements really worked together to give me that sense that I'm not supposed to look a different way. This is how I was born, for whatever reason. Even like going back to the race thing, I think people always like would say things to me like, oh, you're light skinned or you don't look black. And I'd be like, oh, no shit. Oh, I never noticed that even though my dad is black and my mom's white, that I barely am even darker than my mom. I never noticed that. 100%. That was one of the first things about my physical appearance that I remember wanting to change. I don't know if you would necessarily call it my skin color. Like, I didn't really understand at that point what it was, but I just wanted to be more recognizably black because I identified as black. And so yeah, that's one of the first things I remember wanting to change about my physical appearance, is to look a way that, like, when people saw me, they would know what I am. And I look at that now and it's like, good luck, girl. Good luck. Who looks at anyone and knows who they are? That's tea. That's fucking tea, so take it. I don't know why I look this way. I have no idea. It's called genetics. It's called who the hell knows. Like, I don't know, but this is it. I better embrace it. I'm not going to embrace it, then who is? Accepting that I don't know why this is the way I look, it just is. And like, I'm allowed to be here. I'm allowed to show up in the world fully as what I am. I don't have to be ashamed of it. I don't have to be embarrassed of it. I don't have to feel like I need to correct anything. I can just be here. If I can't do that for myself, then how do I expect to love or accept anybody else? Because it's the hardest job in the world to do it for yourself. To truly love yourself, the key is once you do it, you can't feel anything but love for someone else. And this is something else that really bothered me about being a makeup artist, is people would always be trying to like shade other women for the way that they wear their makeup, or that they don't look as good at, like, who even knows? I'm not trying to let that energy back into my life. Please. Understand, know me, understand me. Back, you demon, is what I say. I've never looked at a woman and been like, that's an ugly woman. I know that that is 100% due to the fact that I've never looked in the mirror and said, you're ugly. Because I've always had to try and search and understand and accept my own beauty, despite what other people would tell me, despite what society, culture, your tribe, everybody says about it. I have to decide for me, no, I'm beautiful, because I choose to see what really is there. I choose to see the beauty in my humanity, in my form. You know, if you don't see this or you don't see that, whatever. When women would try to like shade a woman for their looks, it's like, if that's what you're seeing in them, then I can't even imagine what you see in yourself. Until you let down that idea that you aren't beautiful, I'm saying like in a real way, like where it's not just thinking that you can like pass for pretty or pass for beautiful, you know, like once you have your face all on. I'm talking about like knowing that when everything's gone. Hold on, I need to sip tea because hello. Woo! Lordy, lordy, lordy. Am I gonna survive? Obsessed. Because I was thinking about how, you know, like accepting the way that I look at this point in my life. And part of that is accepting signs of, I mean, I hate that phrase, the signs of aging, because how many bottles can we put it on? How many fucking campaigns can there be about fighting the signs of aging? And it makes me want to lose my mind. So I'm trying to find like other language for it. Even if you do want to call it the signs of aging, why has that been so demonized? Why has the idea of being older and wiser become completely irrelevant? There's a question for you. Basically, a woman, the way that she looks can tell you everything about her. You know, let society tell it, and you can judge everything about a woman by the way that she looks. False. False, honey. Am I crazy, or do I like the changes that I see? Do I like the fact that like I have like crinkle marks? I mean, I can only do it when I'm genuinely smiling. Am I doing it? But I like my little crinkle marks from smiling. Don't get me wrong, sweetheart, sweet tea, sweet baby. Listen, you won't catch me not using sun care or not taking care of my skin and myself as I age, but like, I don't give a fuck, dear. And I think I was in my 20s when I realized this. So to me, that's a pretty late, for me personally, I'm just saying, for me to catch on to this idea. Hey, I just realized I actually don't care if I age, or if I look like I'm older, or if I don't look the same as I did when I was 16 for my whole life. I actually want to see what 30-year-old, 40-year-old, 50-year-old, 60-year-old, beyond Taryn looks like. I want to see that. Why not? We've made it this far together. We're doing okay, aren't we? We made it through some pretty tough times. We made it through the early 2000s, sis. We came of age in the early 2000s and we made it out of that. You don't think I can see the silver lining on my 70-year-old face? Absolutely, like what a blessing to be able to live that long, to get to see what that version of myself looks like. I mean, without getting too deep and without being too, you know, woo woo woo, because honey, she's a super queen of woo woo. Get into it. There were times in my life where I didn't think I would be this old, where I thought I would never make it to this age, and I'm 30 goddamn 3 years old, honey, okay? Know me. I can't believe I've made it this far. I'm happy to just be damn alive. I'm not even worried about the rest of it, how my face looks. Who cares? But why do we care? Ooh, let's think. The answer be it's right there on the tip of my tongue. What's the answer to everything? The patriarchy. The patriarchy, dear. Women with intelligence and wisdom and season and years behind them and education, let's find a way to take away their power, okay? That's literally how I was born. Like, gee, how can we oppress these women who actually know what they're talking about? I get it. We can tell them that aging is literally the devil, and as you age, you decrease in value. Unless you can fool people into thinking that you're actually younger than you are. But still, that's not the same. We're just asking you to be 18 or younger for your whole life, sis. Is that really such a tall order? Yeah, guys, what's the answer? You know, Lord knows. Lord knows at this point, I am more than ready to be done with talking about the patriarchy. Sweetheart, it could be my part-time job, talking about the way that the patriarchy has completely screwed us over. So God knows I don't want to go here. Lord knows I don't want to talk about it more. God knows I don't want to bring it up again. But when it's the truth, when it's really that tea, what else is there to be done? Scare women into getting older. It does so many jobs for you. Make them scared of their own face, of what they'll look like when they've been lucky enough to survive a lifetime on this planet. It ain't easy. Like, I don't care who you are, and that's part of having compassion. Once again, am I doing my makeup? I mean, what else is there to be done? But there's a lot, actually. That's another reason why it's so easy to have compassion for people. I don't care who you are. It's not easy being alive on this planet right now. It's not. And I'm not even gonna get into how it's easier for some of us than others, but you know what I'm talking about. It's not easy to be a person and to be alive every day trying to move your life forward. You're thinking every day with the idea of living beyond where you're at right now. The idea that your physicality and that your biology would stop at some point is a disastrous mentality. The fact that I would even want to stop and be like, oh, like I just want to freeze myself at, and like, to be honest, like that's another thing. I'm trying to think of like, what are you supposed to like be? What's your peak age that you're supposed to be? I don't know, like physically, what is it? Like 18, whatever it is. When I was that age, sweetheart, no thank you. I would not go back to those days. If you paid me Beyonce money, sweetheart, no Netflix special. I don't care what you would offer me. There is nothing that would return me back to those times in my life where I was allegedly peaking. Like I said, stay back, Satan. Don't bother me, Satan. I'm not in the mood for this shit, girl. Be back in that platform. Do you see how it's all such a trick? Do you see how it's all such a mind game? Keep you striving for something that not only isn't real, can't be real, but also just keep you confused. Just keep you confused as all hell. Make you believe that you do want to live a full life and gain some wisdom and smile and laugh and frown and feel the sun on your face, feel snow on your face. Like all of those things. You want me to enjoy all of that and live all of that and yet look like some untouched doll. Okay, like, come on guys. we're so much better than this. One thing that I know is true for me and for every other person on this planet, that the way that you look is legitimately the least important thing about you. The least interesting as well. Baby, if you think that the way that I look or the way that you look is the most interesting thing about you, woo, do your work. In the name of the good sissy, Eon Levinson, do your work, because you got work to do. If you really think that, if you really feel that all someone has to offer is their physical, the illusion of what you're seeing of them, then like, wow, what's your life? What's your day about? What's your life about? Because this is all just a vehicle to experience something fabulous that's called life. I'm not bent out of shape and complaining about my vehicle when I can be literally worshiping at my own temple, literally feeling gratitude every moment that I'm even alive. I ain't worried about my wrinkles, girl. I got bigger fish to fry. But like, the more that we keep people entertained with this idea of chasing this impossible dream version of yourself, which is that somehow that you have lived all this time and collected all this wisdom and lived all these experiences, yet you're like a frozen doll. Problematic much? Dangerous much? Call her out, call her out. Call that patriarchy out, girl. Guess what? Guess how I'm taking my power back? I don't give a damn how I age. Period. I don't care how I age. I mean it. Like, I wish you could know and feel and tune into all of my chakras that are telling me right now, oh, I am not playing. I don't give a damn how I age. Because however I age, if I'm lucky enough to live beyond today, I bow down, sis. Because we've made it this far. You've lived through some shit, you've seen some shit. You won't catch me complaining about it, sweetheart. Who's to say? Why can't I think that my wrinkles are adorable, girl? I do. You know, that's another thing, is people always say this phrase that I'm always like, I hate that phrase. Love your imperfections, love your flaws. Well, girl, you're already telling me that they're flaws, that there's something wrong. So how am I gonna love that? You know what I mean? How am I gonna love something approaching it from that stance of like, something is wrong here, but I'll love it anyway? No, that's completely the wrong thing. The reason I even struggle to think and sit here and say like, oh, like this is something about my physical appearance that's changed, or this is something about my physical appearance that I wish looked different. The reason I struggle with it is because I really don't have that mentality anymore. And believe me, I paid dearly to not have that mentality. I don't want to ever make it sound like it's easy. Everything costs in life. Every lesson that you learn costs something in life. And believe me, I'm speaking on behalf of some pretty intense lessons that I've had, but my God, am I grateful for them. No, you won't catch me being upset over here, you know, tying back into makeup. And why to me it's always just been more of a celebration is because, yeah, like I'm doing this for me, girl. I'm celebrating myself every day. Every day that I put this beat on, I'm celebrating me and the way that I show up in the world, my physical beauty, mine that's unique, unlike anybody else's. And I'm saying this not because my story is rare, but I'm saying this because this is everyone's story. Celebration. If I don't celebrate the way that I look and how I appear here in my physicality, then what can I celebrate? If I can't show up for myself and be glad that I'm here and that I'm alive, and that this is the canvas that I was given in life. And I'm sure as hell gonna make the most of it. If it's a car, I'm sure as hell gonna ride it till the wheels fall off, honey. Like, understand. Like, why would I sit and waste time thinking about, oh, does so-and-so think this? Or, oh, do they? I don't care, period. It's a waste of energy. I guess you could maybe even say, if I had to land on a point of this entire video, which like who possibly could? Girl, we've been through it in this one. I'm like pitted out, to be honest, if you really wanna know what the 411 is, hun. I'm pitted out. What's kept me on this path, despite the world around me that tried to convince me that the way that I looked was not okay and that I should change it, or even beyond changing it, just be unhappy with it. We're not asking you for a lot, girl. Just be upset with that you don't look the way that we're saying you're supposed to. I ain't upset. And if it's one thing that like gives me the most giddy feeling is like, you want me to be upset, but I'm not. What's a better feeling than that? That's always kind of what kept me going with it. Like, girl, you can be mad that I'm over here just happy, even though like society or culture or you says that I shouldn't be. But I'm gonna stay blessed, honey. I'm gonna stay blessed because I get that this is all just a hologram. You in the Matrix, not me, sweetheart. All you can see is the hologram, is the smoke and mirrors of it all, the not real of it all. You're missing out on the whole person that I am, the wholeness of who I am as a being, which is a lot. It's a lot. So I can't give my energy to that. I cannot possibly waste my time, waste all of the beautiful gifts that I've been given on concerning myself with the way that I look. I just can't do that. I can be celebratory in myself and appreciate my own individuality and my own individual beauty, but I sure as hell don't have to consume myself with the idea of what my physical self looks like. It's a waste of time. Like, if I could give you just one tip, it's a trap. It's a waste of time. Don't fall for it. You're bigger than that. You're better than that. You're so much more than that. You're so much more beautiful than what you even probably have given yourself credit for, to be honest. Girl, I'm not saved. Look at my rash. I obviously haven't figured that much out. I desperately want to put on a necklace, but like I said, with this little thing all flick, ain't no way. Ain't no telling. My dog is just literally staring right at me. You're so gorgeous, my little sun baby. I wanted to close this video out with an intention of something that you can go forward in your life and enact to make accepting your physical appearance, to make celebrating your own beauty more of a reality for you, if that's something that you're looking for. I would really go towards that idea of acceptance. True acceptance is at the heart of every kind of love. When people talk about having unconditional love for them, they're essentially saying this person could do anything. Any conditions could be possible, and I would still love this person. It's not optional to get through this life and not have that kind of love for yourself, not have that kind of compassion and nurturing way for yourself. When people approach acceptance from this place of like, oh, like accept your flaws, accept your imperfections, it's already leading with an idea that there's something wrong. To me, acceptance looks more like, this is the way that it is, and it must be this way for a reason. Even if I can't see it with the perspective that I have, because my perspective is so limited, it's just one person. If I can't see that, then that's really not my concern. It's more being open, I guess you could say. Being open to yourself, getting to see the things about you that you've been told were flaws, possibly, that you've been led to believe possibly were flaws. You need to start looking at those with fresh eyes. And that's not anything that anybody else can do for you. All these things that I'm talking about, only one person has control over them, and that's you. Because what's the alternative? Be unhappy with something so trivial as an illusion? What's the alternative? Be obsessed with it? Chase after the thing that could correct the way that you look? You know, even makeup. I have never approached it with the idea of like, I need to correct what is wrong with me by nature. If I approached it from that way, I almost can be certain that I wouldn't like doing it, that I wouldn't have a love for it, that I wouldn't give myself room to be adventurous and to make mistakes, or to look silly, or to look overdone, or to look any type of way, to allow myself to be whatever version that I want to be in that moment. How accepting are you? How open are you? I wish for everyone to be able to see themselves in the light of their truth, which to me is that every person has their own unique individual beauty. Because if it's one thing about the truth, is that you know it when you feel it. The truth can't really be known up here. The truth, you feel it and it resonates from here. And no one can tell you what a feeling is. You don't know, like there's no way to describe love, but but you just know it when you feel it. It's the same exact thing. Let that truth come back to you. That's your intuition talking to you. That's the indicator of what's right for you as an individual, personally. And I can't tell you what's right for you just as much as anyone else can. You start to see that there's really no backup to these ideas that you are ugly and unworthy. There's no truth. I never wanted to be beholden to the society around me to reflect back to me, you're beautiful, you're okay, you're good, you're the right kind of woman, girl, whatever. I wanted to be able to say that for myself and say it and feel it so loudly that it didn't matter what was going on around me. It didn't matter if no one else ever told me anything. I would know it for myself. And that's something that can't be taken away from me. It can't be changed. It's in me. It's a part of me. And it feels like freedom. And it feels just like the best love you could ever have. Being able to love and accept yourself and know that no matter how this physicality, this version of me is alive right now today, but this version of me won't ever exist again. I will be a different person physically. My whole body will be different in 7 years completely. The way that your cells turn over, the way that your DNA works. I have been a 5-year-old, I've been a 10-year-old, 15, all of those ages. That's not me anymore. I am who I am today. I create who I am right now in this moment. And we all have that freedom. We all have that freedom to just decide that, you know what, instead of fighting against things, I'm going to surrender to the feeling of just loving myself. Why not start there? If you love yourself and it's true and it's the real thing, and you really love and accept and embrace and have compassion for yourself, I can't think of one thing you can't do. I can't think of one thing you can't overcome. When you learn to accept, there's nothing to see but beauty. There's just nothing else to see than beauty. My true intention of any video that I'm doing, like set off one little spark in you and whoever's watching this video to truly sit down and set your sights on loving yourself and accepting yourself completely. Like, that's it. Because I do feel like it's the key to happiness, true happiness, the kind of happiness that cannot be taken away from you. All of the trappings of the ego world, all that can be taken, like that's nothing, that's just illusion. Like we said, it's flimsy. The kind of love I'm talking about, no one can take that away. That makes you solid. Like you just have a superpower. It does. So I hope that I sparked you. That would be my hope. I'm sending you with all of the love, all of the light. Oh my God, I'm just sending it out to you. Love yourself, accept yourself. You're so worth it. Have compassion for yourself, hold space. Thank you again for watching and love and light. Bye.